One of the few niche phones to survive from Samsung's history of more daring experiments, we're now looking at the fourth generation of phones to feature flagship specs in a more durable shell. But before we can really put this phone through its paces, we gotta get it out of the box. I'm Juan Bagnell for Pocketnow, and here's our first impressions of the Galaxy S7 Active. Now, this is an AT&T exclusive device, so it was a little surprising to see a blue box instead of the normal orange soda retail packaging. It's typical fare. The phone greets you up front with an "It Can Wait" sticker slapped on the screen. We've got a small collection of pamphlets no one will ever read, a USB cable, the charger, and a helpful little USB OTG adapter. It's been interesting watching Samsung include a storage accessory instead of the more common cheap headphones. Immediately, this phone feels familiar. If you've held an Active since the Galaxy S5 era, the S7 Active this year follows very similar design aesthetics. We get a reinforced shell noticeably bigger than the regular S7, and a slight bit taller and thicker than the S6 Active. A small part of the difference in hand feel comes down to the rear of the phone having been filled in. No more trench around the edges, and the camera no longer bulges from the rest of the backplate. Corners are nice and chunky, the edges are rubbery and grippy, and the camo is printed onto a textured plastic. It helps keep the phone in your hand regardless of weather conditions. In the past, the move to a rugged shell usually came with at least one compromise over the regular Galaxy. The S4 Active had a lower resolution camera, and the S5 and S6 Actives lost the fingerprint sensor. We got a fun action button in exchange. While the S7 has clicky navigation buttons as opposed to capacitive buttons, it's the first rugged phone from Samsung to keep that fingerprint sensor under the home screen, eliminating one of the last major compromises. Oh, and we still get that action button to launch a whole series of little mini, rugged, outdoor lifestyle applets. Samsung has been utilizing open, water-resistant ports for the last year, so it's not a revolutionary idea, but it's still impressive to know you don't have to cover anything up with a flappy plastic guard to protect from water damage. The SIM card tray also gets a redesign. The S6 door could just be pulled out with a thumbnail, probably easier to implement with the additional gasket needed to protect against water, but the S7 brings back a pin tool ejection switch. Now, this tray is also double-sided to bring back microSD card expansion, a very welcome return after last year's Active. Now, the rest of this phone is still very much an S7, a Quad HD AMOLED display, micro USB port with a bottom-firing speaker, and we also retain the impressively quick camera system, super fast launch times, and the fastest focusing system we've ever used. Now, often manufacturers just assume people who shop rugged phones must not be interested in taking photos. Picking up an Active is always a welcome change of pace. What's the point of going out on a beautiful hike if you can't take a decent picture of the landscape? Where some people might point to a compromise, this is a thicker and fatter phone than most flagships. It's very much like owning a regular S7 with a permanently attached bumper case. This is a more practical design focused on a durability demographic, but it wouldn't be a surprise if someone preferred the glass and metal look of the standard Galaxy phones. Happily, that extra chunk also comes with a larger battery, this puppy packing a 4,000 mAh cell, a 30% increase over the regular S7, which should be a welcome addition for screen-on-time junkies. Lifestyle and durability have become bigger talking points over the last couple of years. LG flirted with enhanced drop and shock resistance. Sony is well known for making water-resistant phones. HTC added a little splash resistance to the 10, and Samsung's non-armor-clad phones are better able to survive a dunk. So, what about the Active? There are lower-cost, tough options for businesses, and while rugged phones are advertised to consumers as lifestyle devices, they don't often seem to be the most appealing choices for folks who also want pretty phones. Where does a phone like the Galaxy S7 Active fit into this equation? Well, you'll just have to wait for our full review coming soon. As always, thanks so much for watching. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe to this channel for more videos like these. For Pocketnow, I'm Juan Bagnell. You can chat me up on Twitter and Instagram as Some Gadget Guy, and I will catch you all on the next review.